Sailor, you 100% got this. I'm not worried about you.
No.
Everyone ready? We all recording?
Videos are on.
Alrighty. Season 2, episode 9.
We're gonna be fine. It's gonna be fun.
I have that look.
It's gonna be fun. Who's gonna be struggling is me. So they about to play a video, and then we're gonna get started.
And I'm Rocky, and we're joining.
We look good. We look great. We look great.
Breast cancer is something that affects all of us, whether it is you, your mother, your daughter, your wife, your sister, it doesn't matter. Once you get that phone call, it is something that affects every last one of our lives. It doesn't matter race, it doesn't matter sex, it matters not. This month, we are going to be talking with and bringing awareness to breast cancer. Tonight, I have the pleasure of being joined by two beautiful ladies who established in 2005 Fashion for the Cure, which has become a vital outlet for sharing a therapeutic strategy in the face of life-threatening diseases like breast cancer. Through its annual cancer awareness events, this organization not only gives back to the community, but also provides a platform for medical professionals and inspirational speakers to engage with survivors, caregivers, families, and friends, emphasizing the critical importance of early cancer detection and proactive care for everyone's well-being. Today, joining me are Fashion for the Cure founder and CEO, Marsha Johnson, and their vice president, who is also a breast cancer survivor, Arlene Joyner. How are you ladies on this evening?
Great, great. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for joining me. How's your day been?
It's been good.
It's been good?
Yes.
It's been good. I know y'all may be a little nervous, but I promise this is going to be painless. Okay. This is going to be painless. Marsha, let me ask you a question. What made you want to start this incredible organization, Fashion for the Cure?
It was definitely my therapy. Once being diagnosed, of course, you go through the chemo, and with the chemo, you lose your hair, and you just kind of like want to fix yourself up. Well, one day I did just that. I had lost my hair, and I had this wig, and I had this makeup, and I actually thought I looked really, really, really nice. So being that in the past I used to do fashion shows, I used to model, which was a lot of fun. being diagnosed with breast cancer, it kind of like took that away from me for a while because you have to go through all the treatments. Well, the one day that I did get up and got dressed up, I felt so good about myself.
Really?
I had so many compliments walking through the mall. Little did they know, if I didn't tell my story that I was a breast cancer survivor, no one would have known. I was just walking the mall as if I was a model, high fashion model, and I thought, that's what I'm going to do. Being diagnosed, they say the first thing you need to do is all about your attitude. And the attitude is what I took to heart. I was going to show the world that I still got it. Yeah, I got a little setback with this cancer thing, but this is how I'm going to fight it.
Wow.
So that's how Fashions for the Cure was born. Opportunity to walk the fashion runway, lights, action, camera, have your family and friends in the audience just to cheer you on. It's a really good feeling.
Yes.
And that in itself makes you know that you are not fighting this fight alone. And once I knew how it made me feel, I started meeting other breast cancer survivors and said, hey, I want to do the same thing. And it just kept adding and adding. So now we have a full-blown fashion show with nothing but cancer survivors.
Wow.
Opportunities.
And Miss Arlene, I know you came on a year or so after Marsha established Fashion for the Cure. How did you find her?
Through my oncologist, Dr. Gupta at Baylor. I was such a mess, and I cried so much.
Really?
And he said, I want you to meet this young lady, you know, that does fashion and has fashion shows. So I contacted Marsha, and from there, we were hooked at the hip.
So what was it that made you decide that you actually wanted to be part of it?
Well, it was the love for helping others.
Okay.
You know, what she does is bring women together. And after all that breast cancer does to you, to come out and celebrate life, you know, to celebrate life, and that's what we do on the runway. I was no form of fashion, a model, and she took my hand and led me on. So it's been, and you know, we reach back and we get a lot of ladies and bring them on to celebrate life.
So can I ask you both a question? How long have you both been cancer free?
Myself, 18 years.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm 20 years.
Wow.
Yes, 20 years.
Wow. Can I ask you a couple of questions, just, you know, just kind of about your journey of finding out that you were diagnosed and some of the things that ran through your mind? Because normally, and I'm going to tell you from just me, I'm just talking about me. Anytime I hear the word cancer, I automatically go into death. You know, it's always, my first thought is always death. So when I've had some friends tell me that they have been diagnosed with breast cancer or have had some form of cancer, for whatever reason, fear automatically attaches itself to that word. And we're calling this segment Faith Over Fear because both of you ladies, as well as our other guests, are just full of so much faith. And I want to know just how you walked out that initial diagnosis in those first initial days and moved past the fear.
Well, in the beginning, like you say, when you hear that word cancer, that's the first thing you say is, I'm getting ready to leave here. So you think about your family, think about your husband, you think about your children, and at that time, my grandchildren were kind of small. And I'm thinking about, you know, I didn't have time to get to know my grandchildren, you know, so that was the first thing that I thought about. But I like that faith over fear because faith is a motivator. Fear is a paralyzer. So if I dwell in fear, I could never move forward. So if I am to leave here, which I understand that as sure as I'm sitting here, I'm going to die one day. I want to die correct and be in the Lord, you know, because I'm going to heaven. I'm not going to miss that. So I have faith. I walk that faith. You know, God will make you walk your faith out. So if you're a believer, then you have to stick to what you know and what you study and move forward. Just move out on faith. Yeah.
So what type of and Marsha, I'm coming to you. I know you don't like to talk, but I'm coming to you over here. What type of things did you do in those early days? Like, what if I may be so bold to ask, like, what did your conversations with God sound like in those early days?
Accept me into your kingdom.
Really?
Because you think it's a death sentence.
Yeah.
But I've been taught in the Bible, all sickness is not death.
Tell me.
And I've had friends to tell me that in the church, you know, sister, don't give up so easy, you know. But I had never been stricken with anything so deadly, if you will, as cancer, you know. And I was ignorant to the fact of cancer because I had heard about it, and I know over there, someone had cancer, you know. But as far as really knowing about it, I had to educate myself and really draw close to God and asked Him to forgive me for my sins. You know, like I say, I don't want to miss that trip to heaven. So my main thing was just accept me into your kingdom. If it's your will, Lord, give me another chance. Because I do want to see my grandchildren grow up. I do want to be with my husband for a while longer, you know. Just help me get past this. And I thought I knew you, but I will get to know you from here out. And my life has been great. The last 20 years has been more than I could ever think it could be. So He did give me another chance.
And do you think because you had to walk out, because I tell people this often, there has to be a situation in order to bring about a revelation. Because God is not just known, God reveals Himself to us. And He has to put us through some things such that He can reveal Himself in the fullness of who He is in our lives. What have you learned about God through this journey that you did not know about God before you got this diagnosis?
I've always heard how faithful He was, but now I know how faithful He is. And when you get to know, you walk in that light, you got a different strut about you. You can come bold, like being here live, a little bold right there. But I know where my strength comes from, and I draw from that. But I know God is faithful.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I like that. Marsha.
Yeah.
Marsha.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. If you would just tell me just a little bit about those early days when you first got your diagnosis. Was there ever a time that you got angry with God?
I did. I did have the why me factor, of course. I did have that. But then again, all I knew was to stay busy. Not so much a lot of fear. I just said what I need to do. I didn't worry about tomorrow. Always tomorrow will take care of itself. Just what am I going to do today? Took my medicine, went by the doctor's orders, and just did what I had to do. My thing is I just stayed busy. I stayed busy with Fashion for the Cure. Even throughout the chemotherapy, I was constantly busy to the fact that I forgot it was me with the cancer.
Really?
So and sometimes I would feel guilty about that, like, oh, I'm helping everybody else, and you know, so busy with doing these events every year, I really forget that it was me. And my journey went through so fast. It was a year was up. And now I'm going on 18 years, and I'm still going strong. We're still doing the fashion shows. We're still being happy and just having a really, really nice time. And I still have to remember, hey, I was diagnosed with cancer as well. So, but the fight is even more real with me now. I did lose a grandson to leukemia.
Really?
So,
I'm so
right for his
sorry.
4th birthday. So that even made the fight even stronger, you know. So we remember him every year in our children's Fashions for the Cure, where we have speakers, like you said earlier, they come out. We have this platform for medical professionals to come out and talk about different forms of cancer. And we have, for the kids, we have kids representing Early Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in September, whereas we have the adults representing breast cancer in both women and men in October.
So men get breast cancer.
Of course.
So, which again is something that, and you were talking about how you had to educate yourself because until, like all things, you hear it, you acknowledge, and this is all sorts of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We acknowledge like, oh, and we empathize. That's sad, and
Absolutely.
that's heartbreaking. But it's not until you get that phone
That's
call
right.
when it's literally touching you, and then you find out all the things that you don't know.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden, you become an expert.
Yes.
You become
Yes.
an expert. So, what is something that you would say, both of you would say to, not to someone who's in the early stages, but just to people who just don't have a full awareness? What is something that they need to do, be aware of, be mindful of? Educate.
Yourself. You know, don't just go by what the doctors say. If you have to get a recorder of some of the things they say because some of the language you don't understand. But if you record some of the things or have someone at your doctor's office visit with you, you can, like my husband was with me. They can help you because you're not going to comprehend everything. So if you don't know what to say to others, to a newly survivor. So if you educate yourself through all the literature they have available, they have tons of literature available, especially the type of cancer that you have, type of cancers that are out there. What is cancer, number one?
What is cancer?
Cancer, everybody's born with the cancer cells in their body.
Really?
Oh yeah, everybody's born, you know, cells, they multiply and they die off. The ones that don't multiply, they build. Those become tumorous. So you won't know it's there until you start feeling that lump. But
Really?
yes. So everyone is born with cancer cells in their body, and that's what we do. We have the platform for our medical advisors to come on and talk to our audience about that. We have an event that is coming up this month on the 29th, and we're going to talk about the mutation.
Okay.
It's called BRCA1 and 2 mutation genetic. I'm not saying that right.
That's right.
Genetic testing. That is, you have the mutation genes. Not saying you would get cancer, but if you had the gene in there, there's a possibility. So you are able to tell your family, your daughters, your sisters, and have them all to get tested, because everything lays dormant. And it's just with this society, the weather, the water we drink,
It can be
the air we
anything.
breathe, anything can jumpstart that. What happens to me in my genes may not affect you, and vice versa. So we have to be aware of what might wake up these dormant lying genetic cells.
Okay. You just educate. I mean, like you just
Yeah.
really educated me.
You ought to come out to
Yes.
I would.
yeah,
Oh.
because we have a professional that's going to
That's
go
coming out.
deeper into that. So, and let us know. And that's something that, you know, cancer did not run in my family that I knew of. I was the first to be diagnosed with breast cancer.
Really?
Did not know. I mean, I was the most active. I ate better than my siblings did. And even them saying, well, how did she get cancer?
Yes.
You know, but I did. It was probably that little mutated gene that decided to wake up.
Do you think? Because I'm a firm believer. I love God, and I think nothing is coincidence.
Absolutely.
And again, when I talk about situations such to bring out revelation, had you never got diagnosed, do you think you ever would have started Fashion for the Cure?
Not on the level that it is now, because now it's there to educate and motivate right now. But like I said before, Fashion for the Cure, I did do fashion, I did do modeling. That was my world. I love music, I love dancing. That was my world. So when I was diagnosed, that gave me opportunity to make it
And
blow up.
blow
And I
it.
say, if it helped me and motivated me, I know a whole lot of women that's sitting around moping all day, all year. They know this one time a year in October they can get to put on a wig, put on that makeup
go
and
look
that famous
good.
outfit, and they will walk that runway. And it's just a really, really good feeling to know that you know, you feel good. You're sitting down at a 4-course dinner, you know, gala, and the fact you have your family and friends in the audience to cheer you on while you're walking down that runway, to hear the claps, you know, and to say, hey, you know, those that thought maybe you were doing bad, if they come in there just to see you, they're surprised how well you're walking and strutting that runway. And she's not sick. That's the thing. She's not sick. Of course not.
Tell me one of your favorite stories, because we're getting ready to bring on our next guest. But tell me one of your favorite moments working with Fashion for the Cure.
Oh, I have several of those. But working behind the scenes, getting ready and getting survivors ready, I like to be involved with them because just like sitting here now, you have little jitters and everything, but you tell them once you get out there and once you know, see everybody out there and enjoying, you know, so I like getting them together and letting them know that it's going to be fun.
Yes.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, behind the scenes mostly.
You like behind the scenes.
I like behind the scenes.
You know what? And it's so interesting. It's so interesting because you were supposed to be the real talker of the two of you. And this one right here, you said that you was completely shy and you did not talk. And honey.
Yes.
Well, when you talk about your passion, it kind of, you know, I that's one thing Fashion for the Cure has taught me. You know, to be very, very, you know, just say how you feel. I mean, it's a good feeling. It is a good feeling knowing that you are living. I mean, you know, it'll be 19 years for me in January. And I've been nonstop ever since.
Yeah, celebrate life. I mean, because we have troubles every day. So come together and celebrate life. Among other things that we do celebrate life. We thank God deeply.
And it's this sisterhood bond you get. You'll find some that come into the organization that's kind of shy before you know they want to run things.
Miss Shyness over here.
Yes, and you know, I tell you that it's not a sorority that you want to be in, but if by chance you end up being a cancer survivor, you couldn't find a better set of women than what we deal with. We deal with some beautiful souls.
How important is community when and having a support system when you get this diagnosis, and as far as helping you fight it? How important, because a lot of people like to isolate when they're sick, and they, you know, a lot of people like to, you know, they become ashamed, and the fear it pauses them. And so I know you were saying that you didn't tell your grandchildren.
Right.
How important is it to lean on community?
It was the key, because when I was diagnosed, I had women calling me that I'd never met. And they walked this journey with me. You know, they walked this journey. I shielded my grandchildren for a while. And one day they came over and I answered the door and I forgot to put my wig on because I'd never worn wigs before. And they saw me, and the look on their face, I knew that I had forgotten my wig. But for those ladies to call and check on me, that's why it's so important that I reach back and walk this journey with women. You know, I'm walking in my purpose, and I know that.
Yes.
So when you're walking in your purpose, like Marsha was saying, it's nothing better than walk, and it's not anything difficult to help others. You know, whatever you need. And when, like you say, in the community, when someone is going through that, you make that phone call, whether you know them or not, and you speak that language. So your family may not be able to penetrate you because you're so devastated. But one of us will come in that's gone down this road and reassure you that you might beat this thing. Whichever way God gonna take it, we're gonna deal with it just where it is. So we come in and we talk that language and we walk that walk with you.
I love it.
Yes.
I absolutely love it. Now we are going to get ready to bring on another guest who is joining us on tonight to share about her journey through breast cancer. We'll be right back after this. Joining me, Marsha and Arlene on the couch is breast cancer survivor Angela Davis. Angela, how are you this evening?
I am blessed.
Baby, looking good in your pretty and pink, even your pink hair. I love it.
Thank you.
And I was listening to you before we got started, and you were talking about how you always wanted to have some pink hair. Tell us a little bit about that.
I used to participate quite a bit in the Walk for the Cure
Oh, okay.
before my cancer diagnosis. I was a manager at American Airlines. I couldn't do pink no hair. I said, when I retire, I'm going pink.
You going pink.
I retired in November and I've been gold and pink ever since.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So you were participating in the Walk for the Cure even before you,
Yes.
Is breast cancer something that runs in your family, or have you had friends?
Yes, my aunts on my mother's side and my father's side, about the same ages
Really?
Yes.
They were diagnosed.
with breast cancer.
Really? So you've been listening to us talk. You've been listening to me talk with Marsha and Arlene.
They were awesome. I was tearing up over there.
Can you tell us just a little bit about the moment when you were diagnosed with breast cancer, how you felt at the time, and how you walked those early days out? I know I'm all up in your business, but I'm just curious.
When I was diagnosed, as a matter of fact, I'm an old lady with a baby.
You an old lady with a
I had
baby.
a son at the age of 45.
Girl, hush your mouth.
God got a sense of humor. But I had my son. I went for my yearly mammogram. And they said, we see something a little vague, but probably nothing. I said, well, what's the next test? And they said, we can do a biopsy. I said, okay. So I went, had the biopsy done. Oh, it's a little atypical, but you just had a child, probably calcification. I said, what's the next test? And they said, well, it's very expensive. I said, I work for American Airlines. I have good insurance. I said, do the next test. And I took the test, and it revealed that I had breast cancer.
Okay.
This is why I tell people have to be an advocate for themselves, because they told me to wait a year and come back.
Really?
But if I would have came back in a year, there's a good chance it would have metastasized because of the placing. It was near the wall of my chest.
Really? So were you you weren't having any kind
I
of
was
pain?
faithful to my monthly mammograms because, as I said, my aunts had it about the same age. It wasn't anything I wanted to have to endure, but I was highly motivated to check myself.
To be proactive.
To be proactive with it. And on the day of my surgery, well, before my surgery, let me back. The doctor, when he was talking to me, he said, do you want to go home and talk to your husband and see what he says? I said, do he have breast cancer too? He said, no, but I said, I don't need his permission to save my life. What you need to do next, let's set it up. On the morning of my surgery, my doctor stood in my chest and pressed as hard as he could, and he couldn't feel it. But when they took it out, it was large. It's a golf ball.
Wow.
My son saved my life.
Wow.
Becoming pregnant escalated my estrogen just enough that they were able to catch it early. And now I am a 17 going on 18-year survivor.
Girl.
Wonderful.
Look at God.
Ain't he good?
Yes.
Look at
Yes.
God.
Yes.
So during those early days, did you ever, which I'm pretty sure you about to tell me, because you was ready to fight, but did you ever get upset with God and be like, now God, first of all, you done gave me a baby at this late age, and now you playing with me like this? Come on now.
let me tell you, the only thing that ran through my mind is because I have always had a love for God. I was raised in a family that loves the Lord. And I've always had faith. I like to tell people it was like dating God really seriously. But when I got the diagnosis,
Y'all got married.
we got married. We moved in together. We took the vows. And he has been so gracious. He has been so kind in my journey that I never questioned, because if you're sending somebody to battle, you don't send your weak link, you send a soldier.
Girl.
So he had already equipped me what I needed to know and what I needed to do, because I had to walk before his people. I had to let them see the faith that I talked about. So he blessed it.
So how did you walk that faith out? What did that look like? When you say you had to walk it out, describe to us what that looked like in real life.
For me, I love my family. I have the best family and friends in the world. God had already blessed me with that. And I've always been a caregiver. I have always been a supporter. So when I was told that it's a possibility my cancer had already metastasized, I never told any of them. I walked every day knowing this possibility. I went and did a second opinion, and I went and did the BRCA test she was talking about. I tested as a low incidence for cancer, but I had it. And I just thought, it's your attitude over everything. You cannot surround yourself with people that are negative, because as you said earlier, it was so honest and touched my heart. People look at you and they think, oh my God, who's gonna get her car? Who's gonna raise tires? Because they automatically think it's a death sentence. So you have to fight not only with your physical self, but your mental and your emotional self, because it's the key. It's the key to your well-being.
And you actually just rolled over into something that I want to talk with all of you ladies about, and that is how you maintain your mental, maintain the positivity, mental, and fall. For a lot of people, we understand, because we are strong. All of you women, we have a love for God. We've grown up in the church, so we understand this battle. We understand that our fight is not of this world. We're fighting principalities. We're fighting, forces seen and unseen, and that's stuff in our minds. It's a battle of the mind. And when we have our everyday fights, we have our everyday struggles, but then you add on this life-changing diagnosis, and it affects everybody in your life. And the enemy begins to really talk to you, and it becomes a battle. It becomes an even greater battle, warrior here. It becomes an even greater battle in your mind, and it's not something that happens just one time. I know I haven't had a cancer diagnosis, but I'm going through some things, and I've been through some things, and so I'm constantly having to fight thoughts. What are some of the thoughts that you ladies had to deal with, and how did you combat those thoughts and keep that positive mindset? I want to hear from each one of you individually. Ms. Angela, we're going to start with you.
Why you start over here?
I don't know, because you're pretty and pink.
Well, I want to share a truth with you guys. I was diagnosed 3 years ago with scleroderma, which is a terminal illness as well. Scleroderma is similar to sarcoidosis, lupus, and MS. It's an autoimmune disease. I remember sitting in the doctor's office, and he was giving me all the information, and he said, oh, you're a young lady. You got so much ahead of you, but this is terminal. It's a possibility. We don't know your case. 2 years, I'm not sure. We don't know. And I looked at him and I said, Doctor, do you know how many freezer trucks are outside of the hospital and the funeral homes? It was during COVID.
Okay.
And he said, I have no idea. I said, well, those people didn't have anything wrong with them. They had heart attacks, drive-by shooting, died in pregnancy, strokes. I said, you just told me if this medication doesn't work, we will revisit in 9 months, which means I ain't going today. So, God has a purpose for my life, and I'm going to walk in that purpose because I'm not going one day before or one day later than He wants me. I said, so as long as my work is undone, I'm good. That's why I try to bless and encourage people, because I had one of my best friends, Lynn, said, Ange, with the cancer, the things I know that you've been through personally, and now this, do you ever just give up on God?
And say, God, why?
Why? Nope. Because each one of those journeys equipped me for the journey I'm on now.
Have you always, don't think I forgot about y'all, because I haven't forgot about y'all. Have you always thought like that, or do you think the circumstances in your life have brought you to that place?
My grandmother,
Your grandmother.
my praying grandmother, put some stuff in me that I thank her for to this day, because I'm a survivor. I could have wrote Beyonce's song and made some money. But my family, we're a faith-filled family, and everything we give to God. And we trust
Yes.
whatever He decides, whether it's healing on this side or healing on the other side. Like you said
That's
earlier,
right.
Arlene,
That's right.
you want to live. Now, I want to see my son have grandchildren, but if it's not, I'm still good.
You know you're good. And that's a love, because you remind me of my mom, because my mom says the same thing. I mean, that's her.
Yeah.
She told us, because she's been sick, and she told us when we thought we could, y'all don't be crying for me, because I'm gonna be fine one way or another. You
That's
need to be
right.
asking about yourself.
What?
You know.
Yes.
So it's a faith, and it's a trust in God.
Yes.
And that is beautiful. Come on, Miss Arlene.
What was the question?
I don't know. I left it.
No, I know, it was,
Mindset. How do you fight back? What are some of the thoughts that you had that you've had to beat back, and how have you beat back some of those dark thoughts?
I had to pull my mind into subjection.
Okay, tell
You
me
have
about
to
that.
make your mind mine, okay?
Love
And when you get those negative thoughts, you leave them at the door. I don't have time. And I had to learn better. You see people talking to themselves, you be like, something's wrong with that person. But I'm one of those people, because I have to talk Arlene down sometimes. So I learned a lot, going through this. I'm a better person. Oh, I'm so good. I'm so happy.
Yes.
And I know God qualified me before I even went through all of this. See, He doesn't put more on you.
You can handle.
So I say, He does put more on you than you can handle, because if we could handle it, we wouldn't need Him. But He qualified me for this, and I say, if it's on my plate, oh Lord, I have to deal with it.
Ooh, I
and no matter
love
what
that.
no matter what He puts on my plate, and by no stretch of the imagination do I not get frantic sometimes. Oh Lord, but I know, bring it into subjection, and get rid of the stinking thinking.
Yes.
And do what God has put on your plate.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Come on, Marsha.
Well, for me, I think the question was, how do I drown that out, right? I don't dwell on it a whole lot, number one. Like I said, I find things to get busy with. I drown the noise out with music, with dancing. Because our mind gets so cluttered with stuff, not only about the breast cancer diagnosis, but you had a diagnosis before the breast cancer with family, with work, with children. And you combine all of that with the breast cancer, you got to find an escape route. And that was my escape. So that's how I drowned out that noise. I have to drown out the noise. Not like I said, I love music. I will get in my car. I like driving by myself. Drive fast. I drive fast with the music.
I do too.
So it makes me not think. Like I said, I don't think about. I take it one day at a time. It is what it is.
Yes, what
You
it
follow
is.
the doctor's orders, and you go with the flow. As long as you know you're doing the right thing and you're sharing and you're educating. And you just keep it moving. I just say keep it moving. Like I said, it's going to be 19 years. I'm like, where did all that go?
Where did it go?
And I'm still pretty much happy, you know. I stopped asking why me. I'm like, let's just do it. What else can we do?
I mean, look, y'all some bad chicks. I just got to tell y'all are some bad women. I love it. If you ladies don't mind, what I want to do is I want to open it up to our audience and allow them to, our online audience, and allow them to ask you all some questions. And we're going to continue our conversation, but I do want to give them an opportunity to ask you all some questions if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. All right, let's see here. They probably have already started putting some questions in the chats. Ooh. All right. Okay. I'm going to give this question to you, Angela. We're just going to walk down the line, okay?
Okay.
Can you describe any unexpected or positive outcomes or changes in your life resulting from your experience with breast cancer?
Yes. I have met some phenomenal people during this journey, and the education that I received on the pharmaceutical issues, the other things that people take for granted. Because when you're diagnosed with a disease, the entire family is affected. So that's what caused me to start my nonprofit.
Yes, and I want to talk about that.
Yes.
I want to talk about that. Talk about that real briefly for us.
Well, it's called Take a Step Enterprise, and what it does, I help people navigate this journey by connecting them to resources.
Okay.
I meet them at their need and assist them with resources to help them with elder care, the cancer, the family dynamics, and all the things behind the scenes that people don't even think of.
Because there are, I mean, I could probably sit here, y'all just don't know, I'm real nosy, okay? So I could sit here and ask you ladies a million questions because I like the details.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to talk about how the family adjusted itself, and because those are things that you don't think about, and that's why I admire you ladies so much and what it is that you're doing, because you're giving, you know, you're helping women and families get into the details, because the doctors don't, they just give you the diagnosis. They don't give you the everyday and the details that go with the everyday, how you talk to your children, how you handle your husband as your body change, you know, how your hormones and your sex life and different things. I've been talking to different women and stuff. So, you know, these are just, I'm 45 years old and my body's just doing stuff. I'm like, they're gonna tell me about that. So, you know.
It's weird. I wanted to say one thing when you said that. When I went to my doctor, I wasn't aware of this. He said a lot of women die because they get the diagnosis, they don't know how to tell their spouses, or their spouses are against them having mastectomies and treatments. And by the time they make a decision for themselves, it is too late.
Wow.
I never would have thought that.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Lord have mercy, I missed some questions. Okay. This next one is for you, Arlene. Okay. How do you manage the fear of cancer reoccurrences or any lingering emotional challenges post-treatment?
Well, that is a thought. Every time I go and do my yearly mammogram, that thought is there, but you have to have faith over fear. Because fear, like I said, will paralyze you. See, it could even keep me from going to get a mammogram. I could be so fearful of what could happen, but I can't worry about that. I can't let that stop me. You know, so that's what keeps me in line, is do what I'm supposed to do. I need to act in the natural, so God can act in the supernatural.
Oh, girl, don't.
Go on with your man.
You better quit
Go
that.
on, man.
I love it.
I need to act
love
in the
it.
natural
Do
so
your thing.
God can act in the
Yes,
supernatural.
so we do what we need to do. We do the natural because that's all we can do. Do what you're supposed to do. And then let God take care of the rest.
Yes.
That's that faith. Gotta have that faith.
And you know, faith, again, faith without works is dead, because a lot of people, and that's exactly what you just talked about, doing what it is that you can do
That's right.
in the natural.
Yes.
A lot of people just, and I'm not talking about just with breast cancer, but just in life.
Yes.
Life.
Life.
Absolutely.
It's, well, I'm waiting on the Lord. I'm waiting on God. I'm
Yes.
waiting on God. But what have you
You
done?
done.
You
That's
have
right.
to.
You have
Where,
to do it.
what does your walk look like? What have you done in the natural so that God can respond in the supernatural?
That's right.
I'm going to steal that.
Steal that.
I'm going to give you some credit
that.
for it, but I'm going to steal that one. I like that. Okay. All right. This one is for you, Marsha.
Okay, make it easy here.
What misconceptions or stereotypes about breast cancer survivors do you wish people would understand better?
Number one, it's not a death sentence at all. It's just having, you got an illness. Let's get a treatment plan. Follow through with that treatment plan, and just do what you need to do. I mean, it's no worse than getting from breast cancer to, any other type of disease, any other type of illness. Get your plan under control. What am I supposed to do? What are these steps? And follow that. Follow doctor's orders. Do what you're supposed to do. Stay healthy as best you can by way of what you eat. Keep your temple clean. And just go at it the best way you know how.
How do you come up with a treatment plan? What would be your suggestion to someone who's newly diagnosed and they're still probably even in that fear phase and just like, I just really don't have a full understanding or a plan? What would be something that they would do? I want to hear from all of you.
Yeah, you would, number one, get with a dietitian.
Get with a dietitian.
Yeah, because coming up with your own plan, you may miss the beat, miss the mark some kind of way. But when you get a certified dietitian that knows and can put that plan together for you, you can start out there. Start out there with a dietitian, certified dietitian, not someone that just, hey, I got this remedy, da 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 da. You want somebody that's certified. Like you have a doctor that's certified. You won't go to a witch doctor. You go to a doctor.
Yes.
So start out with a good dietitian with a treatment plan and start getting on that cleanse.
Okay.
Follow up with your oncologist.
Okay.
Get on board with that and do research yourself. Go do research and get with other people that's walked that journey. And I have a friend that's an oncologist at the Cancer Institute in Bethesda. So I will fax him people's pathologist reports, and he will give me his diagnosis of what he thinks. And it's usually in line with what the oncologist here say. So just, follow up and do your research. Be proactive. Make yourself aware of what you're going through. And once you make yourself aware, don't sit on it.
Right.
Act on it.
There it is right
Act
there.
on it.
So how do you suggest, I'm a researcher, so that's something, me going and finding out what I don't know is something I'll do in a heartbeat.
Right.
But everybody isn't like me.
Right.
How do you go about helping people or directing people who are not researchers and don't really know how to find out what they don't know?
You can help them. You can hold their hand. Because I'm so interested in helping others when it comes to this. I'll do the research for you.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do it for you, but next time when I say this, but I'm walking this journey with you. Because
And that's
some
part of
people
what y'all
shut
do with
down.
Fashion for the Is that part of what y'all
That's
do with
what we
Fashion
do.
for the Cure
That's
and your
exactly what we
nonprofit? Helping people walk out the
Right.
research and
Right.
okay, here these are the next steps and the things
because
that we do.
sometimes you're stuck with fear. What did I say? It's a paralyzer.
Yes, it is.
And so sometimes you have to take the lead to help these people. And you get with their families and their spouse and their children, or you even go to the doctor with them because they have just shut down.
Yeah.
People shut down. for the fear of death.
That's why it's always good to get that person with you, whether it be your husband or that competent person with you at the doctor's office. Because when, like you said, when you get that blank stare when the doctor's talking, you have someone on the side of you that's tuned in to what the doctor's saying, and they can break it down over dinner.
Yeah.
Did you get this? And they say, then you say, oh, now I get it. Because sometimes when the doctor's talking, you're like,
Yeah, and that's what it
sounds
turns into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my husband said that's not what he said. Well, did I dream that? I don't know what you dreamed. That's not what he
It's good
said.
to have that second
Yeah,
person with you
it
if
really
you don't have
is.
a recorder to listen, to play back anyway, to play it back and just go back and revisit. Because the best report to get when you do your annuals is for your doctor to tell you that you're boring.
You're boring. We have the same oncologist, so.
Really?
And when he told me that's the best news, you're boring. I like
The blood
being
is boring.
Yes.
So I mean, there's nothing.
Yeah, so then, you know, I have my sisters, I have a couple sisters nurses, my daughter's a nurse, so I'm always, if somebody has a problem, you know, going through breast cancer or whatever, I'm sending them things, you know, like what's this, you know. So my sisters, she's just, and my daughter, they are so good for me. And when it comes to me, you know, they say don't overthink it. My daughter says, Mom, don't overthink, you're overthinking, you know. So it's good to have just a plethora of people that you can talk to, because you shut down. We shut down sometimes. Yeah.
Miss Angela?
For me, you have to be your own advocate.
Yes.
If you take your car to the shop, you're not going to give it to the mechanic and say, it ain't running good. You have to be able to be specific. And I think a lot of times people get misdiagnosed or are not properly diagnosed because you have to take note sheets. Hey, this is doing this. It didn't move like that before. They laugh at me, but when you go to something as simple as when you go to the restroom to look, you need to know, because they're going to ask you, what does it look like? It's blunt, but I mean that when it comes to your life,
Absolutely.
they can save your life.
Yes.
Okay. So, as an outsider, how can I better support families who have been affected by this illness?
Simply say, if you need me for whatever you need, I'm here. Don't be intrusive. Don't tell them what you think they should do, because people go through phases. And something I can take from you later, I might not be able to take from you earlier.
Yeah, right now.
So, and if you haven't walked this journey, it's very difficult to say what you would do.
Absolutely.
So, being intuitive and truly loving the person, understanding the dynamics, and stepping back.
Okay.
And I like what she said. I'm going to piggyback on that.
Okay.
And, just be there. Be there and just let them know. And then, you know, shoot a text.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk all the time. People maybe don't feel. Shoot a text with a smiley face, with kisses, and so people know you're thinking about it. But I'm here.
Yep.
I'm only a phone, like at Fashions for the Cure, we say we're only a phone call away. What do you need? Can I help you?
Being spontaneous in the way you care. Just pop
Oh,
up.
I like that.
Being spontaneous, just when you care, hey, I was just thinking about you, that's it. That's it. Not if you need me, call me. Well, if I need you at 2 o'clock in the morning, will you come? Maybe, maybe not.
Absolutely.
I wish
And don't put things out there that you're not going to do.
that you're not.
Yeah,
Yes.
and being honest with your word.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
I wish they'd had Uber Eats
The-
when I first started going through. Things like that. Send people a meal.
yeah.
You know, send a meal, send a gift card,
Yes.
or something, just so that they feel like going to get pretty that day, or if they want to buy a nice wig, or whatever. The simple things.
Simple things. That means a lot.
Okay.
You know, I was on their mind. So it helps a lot. It can bring you to tears when someone's thinking of you, and you know,
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. You get
Really?
flowers or something on your front porch. You know, I had a lot of that, and it really touched my heart. Wow. Yeah.
I got me want to do something.
So I have quite a few people who have asked, how can they walk in the fashion show? Because they ready. but you have to be if they don't have breast cancer or some form of cancer, they cannot walk in the fashion
Well,
show.
that
But
would
they
be
can
true
support.
this year, but years past, yes, we had designers, local fashion designers. There's always looking for models.
Okay.
They can, if we should continue, is this a survivor or is it just anybody just call and is asking the question?
A sailor particularly asked. She wants to know how she gonna walk in a fashion show. She all the way in North Carolina. I don't know,
But yeah, it is a little good, feel good opportunity for our survivors. You just get on the RSVP list, and you are definitely come dressed to impress.
I'm walking.
You walking?
Yes,
And if you come as a guest and you're not a survivor, we have door prizes, door tickets, and if your number is called, you may be the one to open up the floor. So always come dressed to the nine. If you want to show off something
It's fun.
after your dinner, we'll call that number. If that's your number, the runway is yours.
Yes.
Tell our audience how to connect with you and when the fashion show is, when where they can buy tickets
Yes.
or just donate or whatever they can do.
Okay.
Let our audience know.
The website is Fashions with the S on the end, FASHIONS, for FOR the THE Cure CURE.org.
Okay.
On there you'll have tabs. There are ways you can RSVP to the events. We have one event coming up it'll be October the 29th at Dallas. It's at the Doubletree Hotel near the Galleria. You can go on the website and RSVP from the website or simply type in MJ Fashions for the Cure.myevent.com and RSVP for the event. You will be able to get on the RSVP list, and all you have to do is show up, get ready to have a lot of fun, meet a lot of people, network, and feel the love.
All right.
Watch the survivors walk that runway in celebration of their survivorship years. It is the joyous feeling.
Fantastic.
I can't even imagine. I bet
You're
you.
coming too, aren't
Yeah,
you?
You'll be there. The dinner is really, really nice. It's a 4-course dinner, and everyone is dressed up, and you're mixing and mingling and just having a good time. We have vendors there to shop, and overall, it's a good feel. Just a good feeling.
And we also have professionals come in to speak to give us education on cancer.
Yeah.
So we always put that in there.
'Cause
We
we
have an
need to be
inspirational
educated.
piece.
Yeah, we
Yes,
need to be
so
educated.
it's just, we're chock full of goodness.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
just
like
chock
that.
full of it. Yes.
And if you could go to the website, you can see things that we've done in the past. Some of the fashion shows we've done, how much fun, and it's men, women, and children.
Yes.
So
I
And on
like
that
it.
note, I say, man, check your pecs.
Yeah.
Because you do get breast cancer as well. So men need to check their pecs.
Miss Angela, tell us about how can somebody connect with you and your nonprofit and give you some sponsorship and all the different things like that. Tell us about it, girl.
I knew you were going to ask me that. I left my paper in the bag. But I'm going to give them my email.
Okay.
Angela Davis 62.ad, Apple David, @gmail.com. And if someone is going through something, you just don't know which way to turn, you're looking for resources, you're dealing with a health issue yourself, getting your pharmaceuticals, elder care or anything, that's what my nonprofit will assist people with. Shoot me an email and I'll send you all the information.
All right.
I'm having a brain moment.
It's
It's okay. I want to, and Marsha, we have somebody on here. I think it's I'm not for sure which hotel she runs, but one of our viewers has just wanted me to let you know that y'all can use her hotel next year. So I'm gonna make sure that you all connect together on that. I want to thank you, ladies, so much for joining me on tonight and for sharing your story and all of your amazing wisdom and that power and that passion and that love and that faith and how you have walked out this journey. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you
Welcome.
for inspiring our audience, but most importantly for inspiring me. I appreciate
Thank you so
each
much.
and every one of you. I know y'all were nervous,
We
but you
appreciate
ladies
you having
did
us.
a fabulous
Thank you.
job.
Thank
And can
Fabulous
I just
job.
add one thing about Fashions for the Cure? Just want to make sure we know that all our survivors that participate in this gala, with the help of our sponsors, they do not have to pay. So if you want to donate, every $45 is donated, is allow another cancer survivor to be able to come to this gala without cost to them.
Yes.
So there is a way you can donate on the website, and for 1, 2, 3 ticket, it'll sponsor as many cancer survivors. It will allow more survivors to come and participate.
All right.
That is our
And
goal.
there y'all go. Y'all go and sponsor.
A
Go to Fashions for the with an S. Fashions for the Cure.
Yeah.
October is Breast Cancer Month, and here at Next Level, we are going to do our very best all month long. We are going to be sharing stories of breast cancer survivors, other nonprofits, any and everything that we ourselves can do to bring awareness. If you want to know more about some of our guests and the things that we're doing, as well as in the community and are going to be doing here on the show, please follow us at Next Level Conversations. You can also go to our website at www.nextlevel.org. You can download our magazine, and you can also catch us on YouTube. Until next week, I want to thank each and every one of you and let you know that I love you and I appreciate you. Have a good evening.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, so there